Well, so you train the military on all of those areas, you train the police force and so forth. So we have a viewer, imagine, that says, I want to exercise my Second Amendment rights and I've gone and I've legally purchased a gun. What should they do next?
Okay, I think that's a great question, but I think we really need to step back at least one step and look at the fact that the firearm is just one component of anyone's defensive plan.
Okay.
Or logically should be. It's just one tool. It's not the full spectrum and it's not the full capability. So really, if you have an interest in self-preservation or self-defense for yourself or for your family, I would recommend that you start with the concept of what exactly am I defending and under what circumstances. What are the most likely threats and scenarios that you might face, and what are the most dangerous scenarios and threats that you might face. Once you start from that point, then we can recognize that a firearm is a useful tool in many of those situations, but it's not the only tool that you need to have.
Yeah, so you're backward planning.
Correct.
All good planning is, here's my objective,
Here's
now
my
how
end
do I
state.
get there? Yep.
Yep.
So what do you start with?
I recommend, number one, a realistic analysis of the most likely threats that you face, as well as analysis of the most dangerous threats you face. I know in the history of economic war room, in your writing, you've spoken to electromagnetic pulses and things along those lines and major catastrophic events. I would definitely put those in the category of most dangerous threats that you may face. They may be low likelihood. They may, hopefully the range of them never occur within our lifetime. Those are, in fact, in military speak, we would call that enemy's most dangerous course of action. We always plan for MPCOA and MDCOA, enemy's most probable course of action and enemy's most dangerous course of action. So something along those lines would be enemy's most dangerous course of action. May happen, hopefully doesn't, but it would be unwise to be entirely unprepared and caught entirely unaware by any of those incidents. Enemy's most probable course of action is the crime that you may face in your day-to-day life. This could be a carjacking in your vehicle between home and work. This may be a home invasion type robbery at home, or burglaries when you're not home are very common as well, and a wide range of circumstances. If you analyze the risk that you face, you personally, I would guess that most of the threats you face fall within in essentially three environments. One would be at home. Two would be at your venue, and your venue is probably, for most people, most of the time their place of work. And then the third one would be in transit. So sometime between home and the venue you're going to, which most of the time is going to be work. Sometimes it might be a grocery store or shopping mall or something. But those are essentially three places where you have a likelihood of facing attack is one of those three places. So once you've analyzed that, then you can get more specific in, okay, how would I defend myself at this point, in this time? In this environment? How would I defend myself while I'm sitting in my car? How would I defend myself while I'm at home during the hours that I'm typically asleep? Once you get specific on that, that's when you start breaking things down to what would be useful skills. And in almost any of those circumstances, the first useful skill is generally going to be situational awareness. Right? We've already analyzed who our potential adversaries are. We've already analyzed what some of the likely scenarios we may face are. Then the thing that is beneficial to have in place next is the ability to recognize circumstances that are indicative of those types of events unfolding.
So here's a great example. You ran through the internet not long ago. Someone would drop a $100 bill under the windshield wiper.
Yeah.
And you get in your car and you say, oh, what is that? And people would get out of their car and all kinds of bad things can happen when you're fixated on the $100 bill on your windshield wiper.
Exactly right. It's definitely a distractor to obtain your focus. And that training carries over back and forth to training military personnel for dealing with IEDs. I mean, is something there to draw your attention? What's its purpose there? What's the likelihood of it being there naturally, or why was it put there to draw your attention? Something along those lines. There are a couple of books that are relevant to people interested in this area of study. Left of Bang. It was a book derived from and inspired by information that went into the Marine Corps' Combat Hunter program. But it's a book for citizens that allows a certain level of thought and reflection on the ideas.
Left of Bang.
Left of Bang. With Bang being an incident unfolding, an attack or something along those lines. Left of Bang meaning that you're analyzing exactly what opportunities there were to avoid or avert it or recognize it prior to the incident occurring.